What's up, my wizards? It's Dev from SBMTG on the YouTube.com down there. You know, by now we like magic and we have 40,000 YouTube subscribers. Suddenly, that's pretty crazy. First of all, thank you, all of you, sincerely. You guys are freaking amazing. I said the other day I have the best subs on YouTube. I'm serious. Like, I really think I do. You guys are, like, always really nice. But anyway, that can't be said of too many YouTubers' channels. But anyway, I figured to sort of, I guess, celebrate, in air quotes, I would sort of run through some really popular questions that I get all the time. I'm going to run over like 11 questions that I get constantly, and I'm going to do a couple of, you know, sort of specific questions that I got from people, and I'm even going to do a lightning round of other questions. So we're going to try to get through this pretty quickly, but I know it's important to a lot of you that I clear some things up. So let's go ahead and start. By far, the number one thing that I get asked all the time is, what up with the music though? Like, all the time. Like, there's a million commenters on every video like, so music, are we doing that or not? Here's the cool announcement. I do have a SoundCloud now, and I've put a few mostly instrumental tracks up there for you. There's a link in the description for you to get to that SoundCloud and download some songs for absolutely free, you know, because you guys have been asking for the music for a long time. So I'm going to be sort of trickling things out onto SoundCloud over the next month or two here and trying to finish some things up so I can get some songs ready to go, you know. So I will be working on that a little bit more, but the good news is that I do officially have a SoundCloud and there are some songs on there now, so check that out. But by far, the number two question I get asked is a question about playtesting. Will you show yourself playing some decks, you know? Basically, the number one reason that I don't do that, by and large, the number one reason, is it's just a time issue. Same thing with the music. I work a regular job. In the mornings, I usually get home at about 4 p.m., something like that. And I also have a trivia gig once a week that I have to write for and then go perform, and it's probably another 12-hour chunk of time or so. Plus the channel, you know, recording, writing, editing, playtesting, redoing decks over and over, and you know, getting it on the internet, you know, tags, title, description, all that stuff, annotations, cards, blah, blah. So I really need like 36 hours in a day, and I am considering leaving my day job here soon, but I don't think 40,000 is right. I'm trying to get to 50 or maybe a little bit higher before I really consider that as an option, because leaving your day job is really, really scary. Now, if I had just the channel and nothing else to do, then I would devote 100% of my time to the channel, and I would get the music out quicker, and I would do playtesting videos for you. I should do more playtesting videos, but most of my playtesting is done with proxies. I will proxy up, you know, what I believe to be a gauntlet of the best decks in the format that I get from things like StarCity.com, TCG Player, tournament results. And I will play them against all these decks that I'm brewing up and all the budget decks and stuff like that, and sort of a gauntlet. I do that mostly is my testing method. But I do occasionally use certain sites. I don't know, like, I know that some YouTubers don't want to say the dirty word that is Xmage, but I will occasionally use Xmage. I'm not going to lie to you, I'll be honest, to test these decks out before I put them on the internet. And Xmage is interesting because, you know, I play test in the gauntlet against all these big name decks that people know sort of define the format. But on Xmage, you get to play against a bunch of stuff that you've never seen before. So, you know, it sort of allows me to play test the decks in an environment where everything's stable, we know what we're going to encounter, and then also in an environment where you don't know what you're going to see. So, I should probably post more of those Xmage play testings. And Tony used to do that, but Tony's not with the channel anymore. Sorry about that. Still a good guy, still love Tony. He's just not, there was no like falling out. But he's not with the channel anymore. But if I were to quit my day job, that would be one of the first things I would do, is to make sure that I got playtesting videos out for you guys. It is something I want to prioritize, don't get me wrong. Number 3, power rankings. Everyone asks me about these all the time. How do I configure the rankings? Well, I do have this video right here that I will link to here, both in an annotation and in the description, to explain the power rankings, but it is a little long, and a lot of people have complained of the audio quality on that one. I was still recording with an iPhone when I made that video. So I'm going to run through this really, really quick. But the number one thing to remember is that there is no advanced, you know, algebraic formula to doing this. I don't have to plug in a bunch of numbers into a system. That's not really how it works, you know, or the results would be like, you know, power 7.628, they're repeating, pi, you know. I've had the system since I was 12 or 13 years old, and I did create it myself. It's just mostly an experiential thing. I just want to stress that there's no overarching system of, you know, plugging in this or that and figuring out this formula. It's not like that. We're not doing, it's not that scientific, to be honest with you. But power is just a measure of how powerful the cards in the deck are on average, you know. Speed is how quick the deck is. That's pretty, how many turns does it take to finish the opponent off on average. Versatility is just like, how many different decks can the deck take on, and how many different paths to victory does the deck have? Does it have enough removal to stave off aggro and enough long game to beat it once it gets to that point? There's a lot of different things versatility goes into, but it's basically how many plans does the deck have, you know? Resiliency is basically, can this deck come back after being blown out? You know, an aggro deck will sometimes have a bunch of creatures, but if it gets Wrath of God or whatever, you know, Wrath in some way or another, then it's going to have a hard time coming back. So decks that have a bunch of cards that can get cards back from the graveyard, or maybe draw a bunch of cards, or reuse resources in any kind of way, those are going to be resilient decks, decks that gain life, blah, blah, blah. Synergy is just a measure of how all the working parts move together in decks that are highly dependent on synergy, like combo decks. Some aggro decks that have a tribal theme and stuff like that, very highly synergistic. But a lot of your control and mid-range decks that just play the best cards aren't necessarily synergistic. Offense and defense are fairly self-explanatory. You know, we play a bunch of removal, we're high in defense. Play a bunch of creatures, we're high in offense. Game 1 and board are, you know, just obviously a measure of how much success do we have in game 1, how much success do we have after boards, especially very metagame dependent, that post-board number. And then consistency is probably the one people have the most questions about. I'm not going to spend too long on it because I'm already pushed here. But anyway, I will explain here. Consistency is a measure of a lot of things. If the deck plays a bunch of 3 and 4 ofs, it's going to have a higher consistency. If it's just 1 or 2 colors, it's going to have a higher consistency. If the mana base is a little bit more expensive, it'll often have a higher consistency. And if the deck can draw a bunch of cards, it'll often have a higher consistency. Decks that don't do any of these things have a 6 or 7 in consistency, and that is a low score, by the way. Like if you see a 7 in consistency, that's not great, honestly. But decks that are a 10 in consistency are usually ones that have well fleshed out mana bases. They're only 1 or 2 colors, and they play a bunch of 4-ups and or draw a bunch of cards. That's how consistency works, at least in my mind. Number 4, will you feature my deck? Now, this is something that I get all the time. People always send me decks, and I apologize for not getting back to, you know, as many people as I should have on that. But I am considering a series that I think would be fairly well received, and that is sort of a deck doctor kind of thing. You know, you send me your deck, and I feature it on a video, and I tell you how I would build that deck a little differently, or maybe make it better, you know, something like that. Hey Ziggy, you're pushing through here. I hope you don't upset the camera, but here's Ziggy. He's hardly all up in the picture right now. I'm gonna pick you up. You gonna be okay with that? Yeah, you're okay, buddy. Here's Ziggy. Which you guys know by now, he's super internet famous, aren't you, buddy? Yeah, you are. I know some people aren't interested in seeing somebody else's deck, but they're really interested in seeing their deck. So there's that. But I may do, you know, 2 or 3 decks in one video every couple of months, something like that. And it'll be not only an exercise for the person that sent me the deck, but sort of a deck building exercise in general. So yeah, it could be interesting. I'm thinking about doing that. Number 5, upgrade your equipment and I will subscribe to your channel. I get that all the time. But not to worry, we just received a couple of things. First of all, the number 1 most requested thing is a microphone, and we just got this Snowball Ice Blue USB microphone. Apparently it's very good for the price, and it condenses and all that, so I'm going to try and be setting that up here very, very soon. And also, I've just gotten another new camera. It's the Logitech C920. It's got dual mics on it to help pick up. Just another thing that helps pick up. And it's also just a better camera as far as the resolution than the Canon that I'm using right now. So there's 2 upgrades. And I've also got a backdrop in this room over here that I may start using fairly soon. So I do have some upgrades coming very soon, like in the next couple of days, the next few videos, within those next couple of videos, after I learn sort of how to set up and use all this equipment, you know, take some time, then I should have upgraded video quality both in sound and picture. So stay tuned, it's happening really soon. Exciting! Number 7, will you cover other formats? Now, this is something that I've been slowly learning as time goes on. I've been playing Magic for a long time now, but as a almost strictly standard player, I have a habit of putting cards out of my mind as soon as they're out of the format, you know? And also, I have a habit of proxying cards like, you know, the thing, it's a 2/2 to blah blah, you know. Sometimes I don't put the names on cards, which is sometimes why they're screwed up in the deck descriptions and stuff like that, because I have a bad habit of just like proxying, stupid bird, he flies, you know, stuff like that. So there's that. But in any case, I am slowly learning some different things about Modern and Commander. I'd really like to get into EDH, but I'm just never in a situation where I've got like 6 players. You know what I mean? It doesn't happen too often unless I go to F&M or something like that. But even then, we're playing Standard. You know, I'm not gonna stay after and play like Draft because I don't want to be there till like 8 in the morning, because that does happen. And Draft, I do love to draft, but I don't get to do that enough anymore either. But anyway, I would like to cover Limited a lot. I really, like I just said, I'd like to draft, and I want to do that more. I'd like to cover EDH, very popular format, obviously, and not just for the views. I'd really like to get into EDH just as a format because it seems like a lot of fun. I just don't know all about that. Even though I've been playing Magic for 20 years and I have a fairly good knowledge of the cards, a lot of Commander players that have been doing it for a while, or like Call of Duty players that have been doing it for a while, you know. If you've never played Call of Duty, you try to play online, they're going to shoot you in the face in the first 3 seconds. Commander players are like that too. They just have this extremely advanced knowledge of the format and nearly every card that's ever been printed in Magic history, and that can be a little daunting. So I'm trying to learn a little bit as I go. Same thing with Modern. You know, I've got a better grasp of that format than I ever have, and I have played Modern a good bit in my career, but as far as knowing the ins and outs of the format, I'm still a little shaky on that. So I don't want to put out content on these formats without knowing enough about them. Honestly, I just don't want to do that to you guys. I know everything about Standard. I'm very well versed in that. I study it constantly. So I put out Standard videos, mostly. But I am sort of in the background here, sort of learning as much as I can about these other formats. So very soon, I promise you, within the next few months, I'm going to start at least putting out Modern deck techs. But a lot of people are asking for EDH deck techs. I have to figure out the best format in which to do that, and then I have to figure out sort of the best deck to build. So, or one, a budget deck, something like that. That's what I'm really interested in, is a budget EDH deck. But in any case, suggestions for that down there in the comments if you want to do that. But anyway, yes, the answer is yes. I am considering covering other formats. Just give me a little time so that I know what the hell I'm talking about. Another one I get all the time that's in a similar vein is, will you cover other card games? The truth of the matter is, I don't really play that many other card games. I've dabbled in Hearthstone, but I haven't really played it that much. I have played a lot of the Pokemon TCG way back, and would like to possibly start playing that again. I really enjoy the Pokemon TCG. I still play the Game Boy Advance Pokemon TCG all the time. And my nephew, he's like my, I guess, nephew-in-law, I guess, on my wife's side. He keeps getting Pokemon cards, and he's like 6, and he keeps reading them like, this does this, and I'm like, no it doesn't, it does this, and this looks awesome, I want to play this game again. So I'm thinking about that. I've also played the DBZ TCG and Star Wars TCG way back in the day. But as far as covering other card games, I guess, maybe Pokemon, but I just don't really know what the market is for it, especially if I'm an MTG YouTuber. If I suddenly put up a Yu-Gi-Oh video, people are going to be like, really, Dev? So maybe, let me know about that in the comments too. But basically, I'm not really considering it right now, but I would just, in my personal life, I'd really like to start playing Pokemon again. That's a fun game. It is. And a final note as far as the popular questions that I'm asked a lot, Patreon. Quick note on that, I'm not going to open up a Patreon until I have at least 50K subscribers, but it'll probably be more than that. Honestly, it's not that I'm philosophically opposed to Patreon. I just don't think that the channel's big enough, to be honest with you. And if I were to decide to take the plunge and quit my job and just do this full time and take that risk, because that is very high risk. But if I decided to do that, I would probably then start a Patreon and let you guys know. But as of now, I don't think that it's entirely necessary. I don't think that I'm at the level where that's appropriate right now, So we'll talk about it in another 10 or 20,000 subscribers. It is something I want to eventually do, but I don't think that now is the right time. I'm just going to touch on some specific questions from people that didn't necessarily fit in categories. One of my favorites was from Bryce Homick, who sent me an email. He asked me when I started playing Magic and what set was out. I started playing Magic when Fallen Empires came out. It was really in the middle of Fallen Empires print run, right before Ice Age came out. So I've been playing since 1995, basically, a fairly long time. And then he also said, if I could, this is a good question. If I could give one of my cats the ability to play Magic, which one would it be? And that would be Igby. He's the big black cat that's always with me at the start of videos. I don't know why he's not here now. Usually when I set up the lights and I start sitting on the couch and then I go to turn the video on, he just runs up and like jumps in my lap. I don't like go get him. He just knows that it's video time. So he's like the most well-behaved cat. I think he likes what I do the most, you know. If I try to get Julie over here, she will run away. And then Ziggy's just kind of his own man, which is awesome. But Igby is probably the one that I think would be most interested in it. So Igby. Andrew Shamus sent me a question. I've gotten worded a couple of different ways, but his was worded interestingly. He said, do you make these videos because you love it, or do you aspire to work for WotC? Now, full disclosure, I don't see why it couldn't be both now. Before you freak out, I've been playing this game, like I just said, for 21 years, at this almost 22 years. At this point, and I have always loved designing cards, but you guys know that my cards are usually fairly broken when I design them. But I love designing cards a lot, and yeah, I mean, ultimately, I would like to work for Wizards. What Magic player wouldn't want to go design cards for Wizards of the Coast? So, I mean, I guess in a way, yeah, I'd like to work for Wizards, but I also do this because I love it. Again, I've been playing Magic for 20 years. I love this game. It's a constant in my life, no matter what's going on around me, you know, no matter what drama I'm going through, got me some MTG. And I love it. This game has done a lot for me as a person. It's made me who I am today. It's shaped the way I look at things, and it's made me a better critical thinker. I love this game. I love what I do. I love the community. I love this game. But that doesn't necessarily mean that like selling out would be going to work for Wizards. Like I guess I don't understand the sentiment, but I'm also, you know, I'm not like a sucker for Wizards or anything. I've criticized them on multiple occasions. You know, go back to some of the ride-along videos. I have been like, I don't know, Wizards, you know, in a bunch of other videos. I've been like, come on, Wizards. Like, I'm not just like completely up their butt all the time. Like, you got to judge critically and fairly and objectively. And if Wizards sees that and they're like, well, that guy, screw him, then that's sort of, you know, that would be their problem and not mine at that point. So it's not like I never want to work for Wizards. That would be the coolest thing ever, to work for Wizards. But that doesn't mean that because I might aspire to do that at some point in my life, if they would have me, doesn't mean that I don't love doing this or that I'm just about the money. I don't really make that much money doing this. So, and I'm honestly not sure how much money that somebody on the R&D team makes at Wizards either. I don't think that they live lavishly, to be honest with you. So, you know, it's not about selling out. It's not about the money or anything. Like, I do this because I love it, but that doesn't rule out a future career doing what I love, right? All right, just so you know, there's been like probably 32 hours since the last question that I answered. I had to leave the house, and by the time I got back, I was like super violently ill. So that's going on, but I'm going to power through this and finish up. Here's Igby. Hey, buddy. I was talking about you yesterday. Igby left that soon. He was up here for like 10 seconds. Here's Ziggy. Anyway, and we have made it to the lightning round. Ladies and gentlemen, I've got like 20 questions that I answer really, really quickly here. So set the timer out, whatever, let's go. Favorite Pokemon? I like Alakazam, and I like Haunter, and I really like Ninetales. It's probably top 3. My favorite show is probably King of the Hill. Talking about favorite shows ever, really like King of the Hill. But you guys know I like Steven Universe too. Favorite color is purple, but I also really like green, but purple is the color of royalty, and it looks really cool. And it also plays into this. Favorite Ninja Turtle, Donatello. Love Donatello. He's purple, and he has the best weapon, and he's smart, and that's cool. My favorite Magic set is probably Urza's Saga, if I had to pick one. My preferred MTG color is blue. That might surprise you. I know I'm an aggro player now, but I really like blue and always have. What kind of player am I? I think that I'm a Spike, but I'm probably somewhere between a Johnny and a Timmy, if I'm being pragmatic here. Who's my favorite rapper? Definitely MF Doom by a lot. Definition supervillain, a killer who loved children, one who is well skilled in destruction as well as building. Doesn't get any better than that. My favorite wrestler of all time, Mick Foley, again, by a lot. Mick Foley is awesome. My favorite video game is a little bit harder. I like old school RPGs. I like Chrono Trigger. I like Earthbound. I like FF6, you know. But here's something controversial. Just throwing you a bone if you want some controversy. I actually think that Chrono Cross is a better game than Chrono Trigger. And I was alive when Chrono Trigger came out, and I played it like a million times. At this point in my life, I played it back to back like 3 times the year it came out. So it's not like I don't know about Chrono Trigger. Like, I love that game. But having played them both a lot, I think Chrono Cross is like, seriously, like, the music is better, the setting is better, the story is better, the characters are better. Like, Chrono Cross is superior. Sorry, I like it more. And finally, what editing software do you use? I use Wondershare Video Editor.
Because it's free. It's free and it has like picture-in-picture and you can do like text and stuff. So it's got everything you need. Also, I'm pretty sure Vegas is fairly expensive too, and I don't play with that mess. But anyway, that's all the questions I have for now. At least, which there's a lot of questions. I hope you guys are still here. Long Q&A videos, I'm sure, make for all of you. But again, I don't really care. Now you guys know more about me and how we do the channel and stuff like that. So yeah, that's all I've got for now. I'm gonna cough soon. That's all I got for now. Next is gonna be red white equipment. So that's gonna be a budget deck. It's gonna cost you like 15-20 bucks, and I want to have that up in the next couple of days. Hopefully, I can do that. But I will see you guys later, you know? If you enjoy the content that I put out all the time, because I love you guys, you should, you know, hit the thumbs up button. It takes like 2 seconds. You also sub if you're new, because that would be awesome. You know, I've always said this, you know, if you watch my videos all the time, you watch me for 3 months, just, man, subscribe, dude. Like, I've already said, like, I'm not going to do certain things until I get a certain amount of subscribers or else I'd feel weird. So help me get to those figures if you want those things to happen. And I'll see you guys later. I'm Deb from SBMTG. Thanks for watching, my wizards. Here's an end card. I'm going to go be sick.